Welcome to another edition of Smalltalk for You. This morning I wanted to continue with databases in VA Smalltalk. Last time we created a table in VA Smalltalk. Today what we're going to do is insert some data into that table. The first thing you want to do is create a reference to the table object itself. So let's go ahead and highlight this and just inspect it and take a look at what comes back. It's called an ABT table object. So we've created a reference to the table in Postgres in our Smalltalk image. And now what we can do, and remembering that we created a table with this SQL up here, if we go down, we're just going to create a new row, and in the new row we're going to treat it as a dictionary. Name, street, and so on. We put in our data, all string in this case, and then we tell the table to add the new row. Once we've done that, since we're modifying the database, we're going to commit the unit of work. So we'll go ahead and try that. Execute. And now we've got data in there. Now to verify that we have the data, let's go ahead and query it. Query works like this. We come in here, and we're going to have a result collection. We're going to have a query spec. So in VA Smalltalk, to create queries, you create what's called a query spec. And I'm going to create one for the entire table. I'm going to do a connection against that result table from query spec using that query spec. And this is what you want to do if you're doing querying. Things are a little different if you're doing inserting and updating. We'll get into that in the future. Right now what we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're going to go through the results, add each row to our collection, and take a look at the results as dictionary. Before I get that far, let's go ahead and do this, and we'll do an execute on that. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the result item first object here before we get to as dictionary. We'll find out that's what's called an ABT ODBC row. Now the interesting thing is you don't want to look at the ODBC object. You want to go one up the hierarchy and look at ABT row. So let's go ahead and do that just briefly. Tools, Browse Class, ABT ROW. And you'll find that in here you can treat this thing as a dictionary, you can treat it as a string. There are interesting pieces of API you can use to grab this thing. What we're going to do is we're going to take the result collection and we're going to take the first object in it and treat it as a dictionary. And you see we come back with city, name, phone, and we get all of the objects in an easy to recognize pattern. And if you were writing this yourself, you can see how easy this would be to now bind this into some Smalltalk object and not even worry about the low-level database aspect. You could do that pretty easily with dictionaries, accessors, and mutators. So I'll kind of leave that as an exercise to the user, but you can see how that would work. You can also do more abstract querying. Come in here, create a collection, your query spec from the statement, so you can give it a specific statement instead of this for the entire table, and then do pretty much the same thing. Let's go ahead and do this, inspect. And you notice that I get back the more basic object here. If I go down into the first guy, it's the more basic object. I haven't gone ahead and sent as dictionary to this, so I've got the abstract row object here in Smalltalk, and I need to do something more interesting with that to get to the data. So that's about it for today. Until next time, have fun with whatever Smalltalk you're using.